Right now, there's a lot of talk about the tariffs, about mass layoffs, and an impending recession. Is this doomsday or is this a day we've been preparing for? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Sky. I'm a saver investor who is on track for early retirement. On my channel, I feature tips and tricks I have learned along the way that have kept me in line with my goal. I also feature some of the trips on my bucket list that I've decided to take early. So remember to like and subscribe so you know when I drop a new video. And remember, this is an interactive channel, so make sure you are leaving your comments or suggestions in the comment section. So let's get into today's topic. Right now, there is a lot of talk about what is actively going on in the US as far as the economy, as far as impending tariffs, the recession that is likely to occur, and as well as the mass layoffs that are occurring and has already begun in some of the major federal industries or government based jobs. And this is also trickling down to some of the jobs within the private sector. So, what are we to take from this? We are already actively dealing with the bird flu, which has led to the price of eggs being significantly high. And this is something that falls into people's day to day living, such as their food budget. And for some people, it can be very impactful in how they do their day to day work, because if they are in a business that uses eggs, for example, they may have to raise prices. So that price increase then goes on to the customer. This also ties into the big talk of tariffs. So, what exactly are tariffs? Tariffs are taxes added on to products that are imported to a country. So, the way it works is in the US, if the US imposes taxes on products from another country, what happens is the supplier or the wholesaler or the company that's bringing those products in, they are the ones who are now paying that increased tax. And by default, most of the time, that tax gets rolled into the price that then hits the consumer. So that is how tariffs will affect the price of items within the US. Even though the US is imposing tariffs or taxes on someone else, we are the ones who end up paying the taxes by the increased price. So that in itself starts to affect some day to day living. Also, the other part is going to be the mass layoffs that are occurring. Now, even though there are talks of the layoffs, some have actually occurred. There are court cases within the federal court system to try to put a halt to these. There are still people who are not actively working right now because of what has been done thus far. So you now have individuals who are currently out of work and likely waiting for the legal system to rectify what has happened. But is this the doomsday or is this a day we've been preparing for? Remember, if you have been following my recommendations and just the common recommendations given by other financial advisors or just anyone who has been talking about the importance of budgeting, then you should be on track. This is the important reason, or one of the big reasons, for actually having a budget. If you know where your money is going, then you know what type of stress your budget is able to tolerate. So, this would be a great time to reevaluate your current budget and see where you can cut things out if you are feeling the pressures of what is going on right now. And if you have not been following a budget, this is a perfect time to get on board and really take a look at what money you have and how you're actually using it, and where can you cut back to give yourself that cushion or protection for the unknown that is likely to occur within the next few months. So let's revisit the things that are important in our budget, specifically our surviving or daily living items. These include our bills, our rent, utilities, food, and groceries. Our emergency fund, which should be 3 to 6 months savings for your most important vital items that are required for day to day living. And then the other important thing is continuing to pay off your debt. This would be credit cards or loans. Taking another look at these items and seeing where you can make cuts to then redirect them to another area is going to be important. So if you are in one of these vulnerable industries or just feeling vulnerable in general, this is going to be the perfect time to reevaluate your budget and your lifestyle. And some of these items you may not be happy about, but you have to think about the long-term ramifications of where we are currently and what this may look like in 6 to 9 months. Some of these are going to include your extracurricular activities. This may be both for yourself and for your children. This is going to be funds that can be better redistributed to somewhere else, such as an emergency fund, and creating a better cushion for yourself if your emergency fund is not where it needs to be and you are in a vulnerable industry and are unsure what the next few months hold. The other big category is going to be eating out, expensive staycations or expensive night outs with your friends, weekend girl trips, hanging out with the guys, things that you would typically do as a recreational activity with a group that even though you budget for it or may not budget for it, it may end up representing a large portion of your day-to-day budget that is being used in a short period of time, be it the weekend or over a few days. These are things you will have to start evaluating. How is this significant to what I'm doing right now? Is this significantly interfering with my ability to save? Is it going to be detrimental in the long run as I continue to do these activities? And then we have milestone events, weddings, Sweet 16 parties, quinceañeras, things like this that you may have been planning for, but now it has come to a point where the budget you had for it is going to interfere with your ability to protect yourself over the next few months as we go into the unknown. So you may have to reevaluate some of these things. You may have to cut back on cost. You may have to postpone, or you may have to go to a completely different route in which you plan that is not going to disrupt your budget. Because all three of these events can cost tens of thousands of dollars depending on how elaborate you want it to be. Now, what if you were already on budget? You were already saving, you were already compiling your emergency fund, you were already investing, and you were already doing the things that you needed to do to prepare you for this day. If that's the case, congratulations, because this probably does not feel as scary as it does to other people. One, because you understand where your money is going and you've been checking and following up on your progress along the way and ensuring that you had your safety nets in place. Now, this would be the time that if everything else is shored up, everything else is maxed out, and you do have the additional funds, this would be the time to make some investments because as the market is low, you want to enter and make some of those investments so that as the market recovers and these prices go up, you have a better nest egg as far as your retirement. So if you have the additional funds to invest, this would be a great time to do it while the market is low. Now, I myself have taken advantage of what is going on because I have been on a journey for years preparing for days like this. And this is not my first run. Back in '08, when we had the economic downturn related to real estate, that was actually when I bought my first home within that time period. How was I able to get my first home during that time period where we were actively heading into a recession? Because I was already planning years ahead by making sure I had a budget, making sure I had my emergency fund together. I was maxing out my employer retirement fund, and I made sure I had savings in place. So when the market went down, interest rates went down, as well as housing prices went down, I was able to make that purchase. So remember, things may feel scary, things may feel not quite secure, or you may just have some doubts on where you will be in the next 3, 6, 9 months, a year from now. But remember, if you were on track, following where your money was going, making sure you were doing the things you need to do to protect yourself, then this should not be as an uncomfortable ride as it is for others. Okay? So leave a comment down in the comment section on what you are doing to make it through this uncomfortable time and any suggestion you have for others. Remember, we want to be interactive over here, okay? And remember to like and subscribe to Sky's Bucket List Life. Remember, I give tips and tricks on how I have saved and I'm on journey for early retirement, as well as I feature some of my vacations from my bucket list that I am actively doing now. So you should be able to find my most recent bucket list trip to the Maldives, okay? So remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.